Good morning. At this moment, as you can see, it is 6:30 a.m. I just woke up and I just had some time with Reddit. I'm quite often within the Reddit communities as well. And in a certain point of time, I was thinking about a concept called um, listen to insights and do not listen for agreements. Because let's imagine I have some beautiful books here around me. And after reading a couple of them, you might recognize that for yourself as well. Sometimes you have that moment of, wow. Then your whole perception of the world, your understanding of the world, kind of changes a little bit. And that is an insight that you just had. That could like really benefit the quality of your life because we're all searching for added value in our lives, or at least I am. I know that I am for sure. Um, so that leads me into this concept of listen for insights and do not listen for agreements. Because at this moment I'm doing the Livebook community. One of them, uh, I like listening to John Butcher and then understanding his perspective, his insight. And when I'm listening to him, I'm using that capture and create, which I talked in a video about that a little bit. As in, I'm capturing his understanding upon the world without me agreeing or disagreeing upon that at this moment. So listening for insight at that moment means I'm curious how he looks at the world. And leading me into that has been really, really beneficial because now I have certain readers, authors like Vision, Jordan Peterson, Tiago Forte, Elon Musk. What else do I have there? Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. There are some massive authors there in my book list that I can tune into, as in how do they see the world while reading it? Because even a belief system at that moment or an insight is comparison to the moment of them reading it, writing it. Sorry, and my understanding, my ability to understand it on the level that they mean it in. I know it, for example. I do not. Do you see it on camera? Yeah. Um, like there is some Neil Donald Walsh there, the blue books, and I quite often didn't understand it on the level that he wrote it upon, but I was trying to listen for insights at that moment and understand how is he viewing the world. I do not have to agree upon that or disagree upon that just yet, but it's just being curious upon how he sees it. Because later on, if I would have a meeting with Neil Donald Walsh, I could actually ask him, as in, hey, I just noticed that you wrote down a specific thing in a specific matter. Um, is that true that you hold this specific belief system beneath that? And then it's a starting point for a conversation. And having that kind of like evaporates the whole idea of discussion, of us needing to be right or us needing to be correct. Like, and I understand why we do it. Okay. We have been educated within our educational system that the teacher is telling you stuff and that you need to presume that to be true without questioning it, or at least in my experience. And um, when you kind of like challenge him or her, the teacher, um, then the response that I personally got quite often, as in, yeah, I told you that this was the truth, so you need to accept it as the truth and learn it as a reality. Instead of you being curious upon how the teacher thinks. So within that same segment, I kind of want to invite you into listen for insights based on the words that I'm saying. How am I playing in life? What are my belief systems underneath all of the words that I'm saying? And being in that state when you will be in one of the live cohorts, then you could kind of ask me, as in, hey, I just noticed that you said something specific. Um, does that mean that you hold this belief system underneath that? For example, now listening for insights, then it kind of like destroys the whole concept of right and wrong. It's just you're just playing on that edge of you understanding in the world, you understanding the world in a certain level, and everyone has their own viewpoints, and exploring those own viewpoints for yourself and how other people explore the world is it's in a certain way it's very liberating because then you can have conversations with everyone because you're so curious upon how they look to how they understand the world. So the big key concept here is listen for insights and do not listen for agreements.